Namco arcade games are the best, and sadly, this is the only time you'll see Pac-Man in this whole video. Now, would you believe me if I told you that Dig Dug and Ace Combat share the same timeline? Yeah, among many others. They all cross over. So let's get right into that. The United Galaxy Space Force is a fictional organization found in a plethora of Namco games, both newer and older. This suggests that all these games are in the same universe. But then came October of 2011. Namco released a UGSF website with an official timeline documenting all of the games found in this massive crossover. So let's go through them. The year is 2040. Ace Combat 3. The UGSF had humbler beginnings. Rather than being across the galaxy, they were merely a general resources company and dominated some earthly governments. You know, no big deal or anything. In Cyber Sled, which takes place in 2067, they have a presence too, though not a massive one just yet. Then, in the year 2090, Earth reaches its maximum population, and people riot. So the governments of the world came together to create the United Government, and they put the bulk of their resources into advancing their science and technology. The University of Earth was founded, and the global military spent their time going into space for studies on how to best expand out into the universe. Then, in 2098, the game Cyber Commando takes place. Earth's first space colony was created. But similar to how the Americans wanted independence from Britain, the space colony wanted out from earthly government control. Rebellion started, and Earth sent out the UGSF, their United Galaxy Space Force, to crush the rebellion. That particular space colony would later be abandoned. From the years 2100 to 2200, after finally creating interstellar spaceflight, humans began populating other planets, in other solar systems, but only nearby ones, about 10 light years away. But in 2189, the events of Burning Force take place, where our heroine Hiromi is training to join the UGSF. In 2200, warp drives begin being developed, and soon humanity is spread across the entire galaxy. The United Government soon became the United Galaxy. Humans were then put into two categories: Earthlings and Galaxy people, known as Galaxians. Which brings us to the year 2243, the time where Galaxian 3 takes place, and then not too long after, in 2245, the Rising of Gorb. In 2253, the UGSF, after learning from the few wars they were involved in, advanced their ships an incredible amount. Their spaceships got smaller and more efficient, were a lot faster, and had much more powerful weapons. And just in time, too, as in 2279, the Galactic Federation's first encounter with alien life took place, and they were not friendly. The war that ensued is the war we see in the game Galaxian, and not too long after, Galaga. That very same year, from another perspective, we get Bosconian. Alien life gets closer, actually building military bases and star systems already inhabited by man. The UGSF has to defend humanity from this new type of alien threat, the Bosconians. 2 years later, Gapless takes place. After the two wars with aliens, the UGSF's program is growing rapidly due to its success. But to counter this, the aliens built a local empire named Gapless, and the UGSF declared all-out war against it. This war led to Galaga 88, set in 2288. There was now a new type of hyperdrive that utilized dimensional leaps, but it was not created by the humans, but by the aliens. So they teleported straight to Earth and attacked it. The UGSF counterattacked by attacking planet Galaga, the home world of the aliens, and destroyed it. The humans then reverse engineered the alien spacecrafts and soon built interdimensional spaceships as well. Which leads us to 2289 and the game Blast Off. The Bosconians are invading once again. Then a year later, 2290, the Bosconians are still attacking, but the UGSF is finally pushing back thanks to the events of Final Blaster. But the UGSF is not enough to push them all the way out of their star systems, so they begin hiring mercenaries and bounty hunters, which leads right into Bounty Hounds, taking place in 2298. Then, in 2311, the attack of the Zolgear takes place. Zorugia is a massive life form attacking another human colony, and the UGSF step in to take it down. Jumping up quite a bit in the timeline now, 2335. Operation Starblade happens. A special team of advanced soldiers attacks the aliens at their core, killing their leader and finally beridding them for good. The next 67 years have no more war, just exploration and advancing technology. In 2382, in Dig Dug, Hattori Taizo is sent by the UGSF to explore a monster-infested planet. Same goes for Dig Dug 2, and in Baraduk, the UGSF receives a distress signal from the far reaches of the galaxy. They send Musayo to investigate. And again in Baraduk 2. By the way, at some point, Musayo from Baraduk and Hattori from Dig Dug got married and had 3 children. One of these became Mr. Driller, a game that takes place in 2399. In 2400, there was a large spacecraft accident and the UGSF had to send a rescue team to save the day. This was in the game Star Trigon. Then, in 2407, the peaceful days had ended. Aliens attacked again, but this time, they were aliens from outside of the galaxy. Star Luster. By 2459, the Galactic Federation was weakened from Operation Star Luster, so they called for desperate measures. They began Operation Star Ixium. They took every single spaceflight machine ever and reworked them into war machines and fought back. They still lost, and Earth is now inhabited entirely by aliens. So the UGSF moves its homeworld from Earth to another planet, Gaia. But alas, in 2489 they had no choice but to surrender. But thankfully, this race of aliens didn't want humans to go totally extinct. They just really wanted Earth. So the aliens let the humans live. Over the next century, the UGSF, along with the bulk of the surviving human race, expanded upon their new homeworld of Gaia, along with its surrounding planets. The year is now 2618, and the events of Light Blue Blood, also known as Misurio Blood, take place. Now, look at this game, and tell me it doesn't scream 600 years in the future and takes place after humans almost went extinct. Apparently, during this game, the UGSF sends a spy fleet back to Earth to survey what's going on there. This reconnaissance was to then attack the Earth themselves in an effort to get it back. This invasion by the humans takes place in 2659 in the events of Starblade, Operation Blue Planet. They put up a good fight, but wind up losing 97% of their fleet. But not in vain, as they take back the Earth. Humans continue to advance over the next century and a half, and they build a massive star line system which connects all of the colonized star systems in a way that makes traveling between them nearly instantaneously, and it transfers energy and information at the same time. In 2810, the events of Girls Tank Battalion takes place, which, long story short, the humans are conducting more experiments, one goes wrong, plot happens that doesn't really affect the timeline, it's just another crossover. And in 2845, the UGSF finds itself in yet another war, but with an enemy nation of mankind. This war was caused when the UGSF wanted more control and declared themselves the New Space Order. A lot of people didn't like that, defected, and are now fighting against them in the game New Space Order. This war goes on for 3,210 years until 7650, Thunder Scepter, and Thunder Scepter 2. Utilizing the star line, you play as the other side, against the UGSF, as well as more aliens. But in the end, you prevail. Mankind and some aliens are now living in harmony, and the UGSF is no more. And you thought the Zelda timeline was confusing. This is what is possibly the most complicated and diverse and honestly needless timeline, but it's a timeline that causes all of these Namco properties to cross over. So let's add them right to the web, and thanks a bunch for watching. Up next is Sonic.